Jake,
All right. We're back.
we are so back.
We're back. Seventh straight road win, which is a nice stat at the end of the broadcast there. Celtics win 124 to 104 against the Philadelphia 76ers. Just an embarrassment of a franchise at this point. Spoonie, I guess I'll ask you this. Is it a hot take to say that Luke Kornet is better than Joel Embiid at this point? Because I'm not sure
I
anymore.
mean, I'm if Luke got Joel Embiid's whistle, he would easily be better than him. The only reason it's close is because Embiid can grift his way to 9 free throws and make his stat line not look totally, utterly, completely embarrassing. Because make no mistake, he was fucking awful tonight. His defense was pathetic. He undermined their entire defense anytime he was on the court. They didn't have a block. The whole Sixers team didn't have a block.
Insane.
0 rim protection from Embiid, and our entire offense was just running pick and roll at him. That's your king, Philly. That's your god. The guy that we're going at every single possession and generating. What did we shoot? 53s? I bet you 46 of them
54.
were 54. I bet you 48 of them were wide. Reggie Miller even said it. Jaylen missed a wide open 3.
Yeah.
He's like, this game should be a 40-point blowout if the Celtics were like making all these wide open 3s. Reggie, kind of dumb. We were kind of making all of our open threes, but
we kind of are. Peyton Pritchard is making every shot he's taken right now. But yeah, shout out RJ. Appreciate the super chat. Sexiest stat line of the night. Luke's 6, 7, 4 with a steal and 2 blocks. I mean, it was a team win. Like, it's hard to assign one person all of the game ball, but Luke Kornet really feels like one of the stories of the Celtics at the moment. And tonight, like him and Tatum in the pick and roll attacking Embiid, like and against the bench units, it was a little Jokic, Jamal Murray-ish. Tatum maybe coming around, faking back the other way to Tatum, then find back to Kornet. Like the chemistry with Luke Kornet, and now he just dunks everything. I don't know what happened, but he just started dunking everything.
Dude, it's absurd. Like, these aren't like, hey, I'm one step, maybe a power dribble dunk. Like, he was catching some of these, like, almost at the 3-point line, taking 2 galloping, massive, giant-S steps and dunking, like, not exactly on people, but, like, around defenders. And, this is the guy 4 months ago we were complaining about not looking at the rim, and now he's, like, banging it on people's heads. Out of like ridiculous passes from Tatum. Like that one pass he threw to Luke in semi-transition for I think the first one, it was a no look, like underhand, like lefty pass. It was absurd between 2 defenders. So yeah, Luke was incredible, awesome defensively too. I honestly, I said this to Z Gamer on Blue Sky. I was like, it's hard for me to like fathom how good he's gotten, Luke Kornet. Like, it's bizarre how he's just like so damn good now.
Well, it's a thing that happens to everybody in the NBA, I think, that thinks about the NBA, fans, analysts, players. Like, you get anchored to your original feelings about a player, and that is true of like top draft picks in the like vice versa. Like, how many chances does someone like Cam Reddish get? Multiple teams that talk themselves into the 6'8" dude, but never actually proves that he's an impactful NBA player. And then you have someone like Luke Kornet that was on the outs of the NBA and is this goofy guy. And then even his development from when he came back to the Celtics to now, you're still kind of anchored to some of those feelings that you have from 2 seasons ago, even earlier this season. And now it's like, how do I contextualize how good Luke Kornet is right now? It's like not a question that he would be starting on a team like the Lakers right now, and he would make them very, very good. But yeah, man, like it's hard to kind of figure out how do I rank him, especially this is the play. Thank you. Oh my God, it's beautiful.
So nasty.
It's beautiful, dude. Yeah.
Oh,
My bad.
that's all good. His chemistry with Tatum on that play I just ran really quick. Like Tatum, dude, you're so right. Jokic, Jamal Murray, Jokic in the high post, just letting Murray cut off of him, fake handoffs, get him back door, and then the pass back from Tatum, but also in the high pick and roll. Tatum likes to like break somebody down a little bit and get sort of a half a step before he leads them into the pick. And sometimes that will lead to like illegal screens. But Luke has gotten so good at he almost like backs away for a second, lets Tatum get into his move, then slides over at the perfect time, creates great contact. And that's when you can go at Joel Embiid because it's such a good, firm screen, thick, thick, firm, heavy screen.
The corn hub. He sets a thick screen.
That's right. And then it's like Tatum with a step downhill against Joel Embiid, who can't move. And that was basically the offense for the entire first half. So it's just incredible, man. Like his passing is so crazy now.
Dude, Tatum's control of the game, and shout out to my dad in the chat here. Like Tatum's, I don't know, like you have to credit a bunch of people with the development of Luke Kornet. Obviously, the development staff, Luke Kornet deserves probably the bulk of the credit, but like JT's ability to make whoever is playing the big man slot look awesome. You can name, Daniel Tice. He got paid. He's gonna get Luke Kornet paid, and I was almost upset that this game was on national TV because I'm like, I think too many people are watching this Luke Kornet masterclass right now. We don't want to get that contract to get run up too high, but he even was able to run viable lineups with Tristan Thompson out there. Like he's able, his pick and roll mastery. Like I wrote about JT attacking different coverages, and we did a Jason Tatum deep dive on the Patreon, about 30 plus minutes, just talking about Tatum and how he attacks different coverages. But it's just, what do you do, man? Like if you're a team that has to play drop coverage like a Joel Embiid, and that big man is not, there isn't a guy really out there right now that can consistently really bother him in that type of coverage. Maybe Jaren Jackson can kind of do it, but even he's typically more in like a helping role. But he's just so comfortable, whether it's like getting to that pull-up three or this new head fake crossover on the big man, and then he gets his body into the big man, finish at the rim, or help comes. How many passes did he have tonight where he was just finding guys in the corner? Like he had 11 assists tonight or 10 assists tonight. Could have easily been 12 or 13 or 14. Like he was just spraying all over the place.
The way Tatum, he was blasting the walls. Yeah. The way he like snakes and splits the pick and roll now, like he's gotten so comfortable throwing that like power dribble in front of himself in between the two defenders and just following it into the space behind them. That is like what point guards do. And a 6'9" guy doing that regularly is just kind of absurd to watch him operate in the pick and roll now. And it's especially great because he's so tall. He can see over some of these defenders. He had a couple where he's like operating on like the left side out of a pick and roll, and then he splits it and then like doesn't even really gather. He just launches the ball cross court through the teeth of the defense to a wide open shooter on the wing. That is just such ridiculous high level playmaking. And it's not like, oh no, I need to get rid of this ball because I'm about to dribble into trouble. It's like, I'm going to move here because I know that defender is going to move here, and then I'm going to pass it to that guy who's wide open. And if the defender doesn't help, I'm going to walk in for a layup or dunk. So it's pretty incredible. He's become an elite primary ball handler at 6'9".
The playmaking, ball handling, decision-making development this season. Yeah. And I think part of that's like the chemistry of being with this group again, another year with Luke Kornet. But yeah, man, I think it's pretty clear to me that he's easily the second best wing or like top 3 wing creator. I'm not sure how you just like, do you call Luka a wing or is he more of a point guard or whatever? But like these jumbo creators, I guess, is the best way. Guys that are 6'8" and up. It's Luka, LeBron, Tatum, and then who's in that next group. KD was never this type of playmaker. He
Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy's in that category, but he's not like he doesn't have the same on ball, volume, usage, impact. Like they don't exist, and they're incredibly valuable because, as you said, you can create plays and be so tall and see things and have balls get through passing lanes in ways that like small players aren't able to, and then also like you just have so many mismatches. It's awesome. It's awesome, and to see him come straight back out of the All-Star break, like didn't have a big scoring night, only took 13 shots, but was 5 for 13, sub 40% from the field. But it doesn't really matter now for him. Like when he's locked in and engaged, what did he have? He ended up having the 3 turnovers, which is kind of probably one more than you like to see, but. Yeah, man, the decision making, the offense is like that's really what matters. Like everyone's going to get caught up in that scoring efficiency stuff, or non-Celtics fans get caught up in that scoring efficiency stuff. But when he's the captain of a top 5 offense again, then it kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah, he's been like the captain of a top 5 offense basically his entire career. It's almost like these two things are related to how good Jason Tatum is or something. I don't know. It's hard for me to put together like it is for some fans. Yeah, and like Tatum's gravity on ball, like you were saying, is huge, but he's also kind of an off-ball playmaker too. Like Jimmy doesn't have that, where like you can, if he's just chilling in the corner, he'll cut and stuff like that, but you can't leave Tatum, and that lets guys like Peyton Pritchard run a pick and roll with all the space in the world, and he's gotten incredibly good at running pick and roll too, or just like let Jaylen Brown get Tyrese Maxey onto him and then just go one-on-one empty side ISO and score essentially at will. So Tatum's gravity on and off ball is just like the foundation of the offense, and it's no surprise he's like second highest plus minus on the team after Mr. Plus Minus Al Horford, of course. But
of course,
yeah, the 3 turnovers, like I'm less concerned about that when he's putting like 9-10 assists up.
Exactly.
When it's like 5 and 3, that's kind of ugly, but 10 and 3 is, I mean, that's totally fine. So awesome game from him. Pritchard this dude is crazy, man.
Hey.
Like it's just nuts how good he is.
So Jack Simone had made a cool little video I saw it on Twitter today. It was talking about his pick and roll stuff, which you just reminded me about, and of players that are running at least 1 pick and roll per game. He's first in the NBA in points per possession, which is, he's only running 1.8 of them per game, and a lot of them have come in garbage time. But his mastery in that action has like really improved, and it goes back to Luke Kornet as well. Like a lot of that is running with Luke Kornet, but with Cater again today, he was, I mean, it starts with the shot making with Pritchard today, right? Yeah. I mean, 8 for 15 for 3. That's just what are we talking about, dude? And he was 4 for 5. He was 5 for 7 at one point. He kind of went a little bit cold but you kind of like to see guys finish with that many shots when they start that hot. It's like just feed these guys until they cool off a little bit. But yeah, this was perfect, and it feels like he's kind of just like the rest of the team here started to find the rhythm a little bit more lately. Like he had 25 points against the Knicks. He had 21 points in that blowout loss to the Mavericks, and I wonder if that maybe kind of helped him get going again. But yeah, good to see Pritchard get going. The bench was a big story in the first half, and obviously for the game, like Horford was rejuvenated. We talked about Kornet. Pritchard was awesome. I mean, I don't know how we didn't start the podcast with Torrey Craig, your guy, again, just showing out tonight.
Yeah, he was a beast in those 5 minutes. He I guess 8.5. There you go, Torrey. Didn't take a shot. Which is fine.
Didn't force it.
Yeah, he didn't force it. Yeah,
feed the big PP. Feed the big dog.
I will say he had a really nice block, and then completely lost David Roddy, who he blocked, and David Roddy ended up with a wide open corner 3 after that he missed. So you lucked out, Jordan. He's like I was harsh on Torrey Gregg. Like, he's going to look a lot better as a Celtic than he has looked for a while because it's just much easier to play basketball in the Celtics than it is on the Chicago Bulls. So he's totally fine. Like, he is a very solid 10th man. I said he's a home run for a buyout candidate.
No, I just really enjoy that this is a thing now because we've got multiple people in the Discord. We got Spoonie, and I think that's absolutely like the Boston Celtics exchange rate. And maybe that goes back to the Luke Kornet contract thing where teams are probably going to be like, well, no shit, Luke Kornet looks good playing next to all these guys, and no shit that Torrey Craig looks better playing for the Boston Celtics than he did for the Chicago Bulls. Just joking about Torrey Craig. But you did say this, that he does play hard. And if you're going to play hard and be tall and relatively athletic, then like, and make the right decisions, you're probably going to be totally fine playing for the Boston. This is a good question, though, from Rivens in the chat here. Do you still consider PP risky for the playoffs? I still think he's got to prove it to me in the playoffs. And he did have some really big moments in the second round last season against the Cavs. There was like 3 straight games where he hit giant, big nuts 3-pointers. I know he dotted Dean Wade's eye in one game that comes to mind, but it did kind of fall off as we got to both the Pacers and especially the Mavs stuff. So, I would guess it's gonna be like role players in the playoffs. They're gonna be uneven, and you're gonna need your main guys to carry you a lot of the nights. But can he give you one 25-point game per series and flip a game for you every round? And then that's a huge impact from like your 7th or 8th man.
Yeah, for sure. And I think even more importantly, he's a really good matchup for Cleveland. And that was less important last year, but I think he might be our best on-ball defender against like the small, shifty guards, like against the Maxey types, against Darius Garland types. Like Drew kind of struggles with them. I mean, we've talked about he's clearly not going 100% on defense, and I think he'll be better at that in the playoffs. But Pritchard's gotten really good at just staying in front of those types of guys, and they don't really have a big ball handler that can exploit him on the defensive end with switches. So I love Pritchard in that matchup, and that's probably the most important team for us to match up against. And then the Knicks, like, you got to keep them away from the Cat matchup. We scram them out really, really well this year. And like he can abuse Cat in the pick and roll with his pull-up shooting. So ultimately, though, I think it's really matchup dependent for Pritchard, which I guess probably means I think it's risky. Like if it's a bad matchup, it's probably quite risky. But against the right matchup, he's gonna play. He has to play no matter what the matchup is. But you're right. Like all we need for him is to like win us a half, per series, and we're gonna be nearly impossible to beat. So I love Pritchard. He's going to play super hard. He's going to make some shots, and he will probably have some games where teams figure out how to attack him, and he's going to get like 10 minutes instead of 18 or 20.
Well, who are you more confident in come playoff time, Pritchard or Kornet?
I wonder if Kornet's lack of shooting hurts us a little bit in the playoffs, but I think that's a really difficult question. I think I'm more confident in Pritchard.
Oh, interesting. I'm more confident in Luke now.
Okay.
I just feel really like offensively now you can run the pick and roll. He'll be out there with the 4 other shooters, and if teams are switching, then sure maybe and he's not going to post anybody up, but you can put him in the dunker's spot, and if they're switching, then Tatum's attacking whatever the weakest link is, and if Kornet's guy comes over, then that's the dump off. And then defensively, like the Cleveland matchup, he was pretty solid in that first game last year. But I do think as the series goes along, someone like Donovan Mitchell that can just go completely nuclear from pull-up threes, and you kind of have to play drop with Kornet. Like maybe you're trying to keep him out, you're trying to switch everything, you try and pre-switch stuff to make sure you keep him out of the action. But again, it's like, can he give you solid 6 minutes? Because all the amount of time you need these guys in the playoffs goes down. It's like, can you get a quarter, another stretch? Right. Porzingis is in foul trouble. Can you get a quarter out of Luke Kornet? And I think I feel a little bit more confident with Luke at the moment. And shout out Landon, like the stream. You're right here. Appreciate you all being here. Give us a like, give us a subscribe while you're right here. Just move your mouse a tiny bit. tiny bit. Click it.
Very
There we
easy.
go.
Just little
Yeah.
clicky clicks.
Yeah.
And another thing when they switch, when Luke is setting the screen in the pick and roll, is he destroys switches on offensive rebounding.
Yeah,
Like
man.
lots of time, yeah. Like he had 4 tonight. I bet you 2 or 3 of those were when Tatum got the switch onto the big, went downhill, missed, and Luke was there just to clean it up. So
Got fouled a
that's
couple
kind of
times, even
yep.
going for the rebounds as well. Beast down there now.
Yeah, so like he's not going to post anybody up, but there is an advantage created on the glass. It allows Tatum to just kind of like be a little more free in ISO against the big, knowing Luke's down there and probably going to get the rebound if like, Max Strus is switched on to him or something. So I think my conclusion is I kind of trust both of those dudes quite a bit at this point, and Hauser too. Like all 4 of the bench guys, like obviously you trust Horford in the playoffs, but all 4 of those dudes, man, I am comfortable. Like if Joe thinks like this is a good matchup, they're playing well tonight, I'm going to close the game with this guy. I think there might be a time where that happens. So they're like, this bench has just come together. Brad and Danny put it together with like Band-Aids and late first round picks and undrafted free agents. And they're like one of the best benches in the NBA. It's pretty crazy.
It's a nice 9-man rotation, especially with the big
Yeah.
dog Torrey Craig now filling that 10th spot.
Yeah, buddy. My
That's the
guy.
guy. But yeah, it's a beautiful box score tonight. So obviously we're going to be feeling good right now. But they've now put together a stretch, and we haven't even talked about it. We hit it. 40-20 has been secured. Never in doubt, and now we can pretend like it doesn't matter, and we're never worried about it. And but it is nice to have that in the back pocket. But this box score is beautiful, man. Like you've got Pritchard high score at 28, Jaylen 20, Tatum 15, Porzingis 17, Derek 16, like Horford 11, Kornet 6, even Drew with 8. It's just across the board, everyone pouring in points, rebounds, assists. Just a really nice spread here. Jaylen. A classic Jaylen game in that some of the bad like sticks out in my brain, but for the most part, he was like really good. I thought that he was the guy that took the Maxi matchup, and I thought it was mixed. I think that whoever takes the Maxi matchup is going to be mixed because Maxi's fucking tough to deal with now, man. Like he's like top 6 in scoring in the NBA now. Like that's tough. Yeah, I know we talked about the mystery box with Greeny here. Yeah, I think I offered the 6 and 4 on the 40-20 mystery box, and I think we've gone like 6 and 1 since I kind of offered that. But yeah, Jaylen. Yeah, I thought mostly was pretty good tonight.
Yeah, I think so Maxi, it felt like he had a lot more than 16. There was a couple stretches there where the ball like it seemed like we were just telling Jaylen, you've got to get over the screen every time, and there's not going to be any help for you if you don't. And Maxi walked to the rim like 2 or 3 times, and that is not on Jaylen Brown. Like no one can be expected to get over or under the screen against Maxi with very little help and contain him. And then we just started like hedging, and all of a sudden Maxi's giving the ball up. And then Jaylen's back onto him, and Embiid just looks so slow that when we hedge and the ball swings to him, he doesn't have like the downhill explosiveness to really take advantage. So he's got to like work his way slowly into the shots he wants. So that worked really well, and I thought it really cut off Maxi's water. And like the big number for me, he was efficient. He only took 10 shots, and that's really important. Is you don't want him to get going, which he was, and then really get confident and start burying pull-up threes, because that's when he's like totally, utterly impossible to guard. So I thought Jaylen was really, really good, except for like 3 or 4 times where it's like, bro, what are you thinking? What are you doing? But that's, you're right. Classic Jaylen.
He had 2, like the turnovers I almost am less upset with because like he was just trying to get downhill and then make a play for himself or someone else, even though it like gives the PTSD still in there. And every time he's like dribbling in the middle of the court, and he fell down twice and turned it over. But he had 2 just like pull up threes out of nowhere, like feeling himself. He had 1 in the first half where we were just getting whatever he wanted, and he hadn't really scored. And And I was like, what are we doing? At least he was hot on the second one that he took,
Yep.
but that also didn't happen. Airball to catch and shoot corner three. But again, I think that 20 points on 13 shots, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 turnovers. Like, I thought he was really solid, and I thought battled defensively, came up with a couple of big rebounds. And I thought just the hierarchy and the flow of this game was nice, and I thought Jaylen kind of fit into that quite well. And I wonder, as the last few games have happened here, it's definitely kind of felt like Tatum's got the ball in his hands more, and everyone else is just in that next tier of responsibility. And then, next tier of responsibility. But then when Tatum was on the bench, it felt like we kind of went a little bit too far into just Jaylen. I thought that Derek should have had some of those possessions to run pick and roll as well. But on the overall, I liked what I saw from Jaylen.
Yeah, definitely. And like Maxi's a really tough matchup. It's got to be exhausting chasing him around too. So, but we were talking about that like a month ago because I think I was like Jaylen Brown needs to like pick it up on defense because that's how he goes defensively. The team kind of goes, and I think you were like just stick him at the point of attack, stick him on the ball, and we've done that over these last 9 games where we've gone 8-1, and it really just makes the defense make a ton of sense. So yeah, like a really rock solid, very good game from Jaylen Brown outside of, a few Jaylen Brown moments. What'd you think about Drew on Embiid to start the game?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I was yelling because like historically we we always double like on the Embiid dribble, and I don't know. I didn't want anyone to double. I wanted to see him make shots because his juice is just gone. Like he was always this floppy, flailing, grifting, unserious basketball player. But now the burst and athleticism doesn't seem to be there either. And I was like, it doesn't seem like he's getting a good push against anybody, against Jaylen, Drew, Porzingis, and then obviously he got bailed out on the free throws a bunch of times. But I did not feel uncomfortable with Drew on him at all. It did not feel like he was creating any advantages, or at least consistently.
Yeah, I love Drew against him because Drew gets into his handle, and I think it just makes him uncomfortable. And Drew had one where he clearly stripped Embiid, and he got completely bailed out, but that was frustrating. But yeah, man, and it hijacks their pick and roll game too, right? Because if you have Embiid set the screen for Maxey, it's like Jaylen Brown gets onto Embiid and Drew Holiday gets onto Maxey. And it's like you have achieved literally nothing with that action. And now there's 10 seconds left on the shot clock. So we're probably entering into like a Joel Embiid post up from 18 feet with Jaylen Brown on him, who I also trust not to get moved. But I think the lack of juice, the biggest thing is KP. I feel like when Embiid was feeling good and he would post up Kristaps, he would put KP in the basket and score or get fouled like every time. And I thought KP did pretty well against them one-on-one, like zero help or like maybe a couple digs or things like that. But and if Embiid can't push KP around, like what is the point of him as a basketball player anymore?
I was really surprised because I have the exact same memory of them matching up last season as well, of like this dude, just moving KP. Because, I mean, you just look at them, man, and like Embiid's just got twice the girth on him, and which is something that I can relate to. But like this, dude, if you can't move KP, there was even a possession with Kornet where Al like helped him and ended up getting called for a foul, and I was like, don't bother. One, make him make the shots, and something I never really put together, he gets so much rest when he gets to the free throw line as well. He's just standing there like hands on hips, just like waiting to take these free throws. Just make him make the shots, and if he makes them, he makes them. Fouling him is the only way that they can stay in the game. That was the only way they stayed in the game. They were down like 16 at halftime, and like I think it's easy to just, not easy because he's so good at drawing fouls, and the refs just have to go home embarrassed when they watch this film back, like, and some of the like the KP one where they banged into each other and Embiid go like, what I guess as a ref, you're thinking that KP had to have hit him hard in order to make him fall down. That's not what happened. He just like completely crumpled. I think he hit the floor 4 times in the first half, 8 times in the game. Like, embarrassing, man.
Yeah, man, and like that KP foul, quote unquote, happened right after Embiid like smacked Derek White in the face on a
Jeez.
post up too. So it was ridiculous, and like Kristaps Porzingis with all his might could not send Joel Embiid flying like that if he tried. But obviously, like absurd flop, like pathetic flop. How as a ref? I get what you're saying, Jake, where it's like you see big man go down, something must have happened, but it's like not if it's that guy anymore, refs. Like, how does he continue to trick them? He's 7'3", 300 pounds. Like, he's not just going flying because Kristaps Porzingis is standing straight up, unmoving, and then pile drives him to the floor. It just is so frustrating. But like without the free throws, he was horrible. 3 of 9
Brutal.
from the floor. Like, I can't even really remember him making a shot. And like if he needs to like be an elite 3-point shooter now at this stage of his career, and he's just kind of not. So I don't know what Philly does. They're a disaster.
I just watched the Bulls and Knicks are tied at 104-104, and Lonzo Ball just missed like a wide open three to like end the game.
Lonzo.
But yeah, so I saw someone in the chat just said it's going down to the wire, so I just thought I'd give the people an update on that one and why my eyes were darting around the screen here. But yeah, dude, it's a disgusting stat line. 15 points on 9 shots, and 9 of them came from the free throw line. And the rebounding, like, he only played 27 minutes, but like on one hand, it's sad that someone this good has been derailed by injury, but you lose a lot of the sympathy when you get the grifting and the flopping. Like, it's hard for you to like really feel completely bad for someone like that. And I can separate the two, where it's like really unfortunate that he's dealt with all these injuries.
Yeah.
And then be like, I fucking hate watching this guy play basketball. It's like a disgrace, and it's kind of a scourge on the NBA in the similar way to Jalen Brunson's foul grifting was in the first half of the Knicks game. Like, unethical hoops will not be rewarded. And last couple champions. When's the last time an unethical person won the title? I guess LeBron for you, I get 2020. But he's never been a grifter as much as just like
An excuse maker.
Yeah, an excuse maker, which I'm sure we're going to get plenty of over the next few weeks here if things continue to go the same way for the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't know, on this game, if you have anything else here. Vooch under the basket. Oh, blocked by Mikal Bridges overtime.
God damn it, Vooch.
God damn it. Come on, dude. He had it. Great play design under the basket for Vooch. Just can't finish the play there. But on this game in particular, nothing else. I don't know if you wanted to hit on anything All-Star. I know you've got some thoughts on LeBron. We could talk about how Luka was terrible, but then we can get you to bed.
Yeah, Luka was so bad last night. I only watched the first quarter, but he was just throwing out of bounds. You just absolutely hate to see that. Yeah, and I think LeBron James should be banned from the All-Star game. No one is talking about what he did. He decided not to play in the All-Star game like 2 hours before it started. So there was no you're telling me LeBron James just decided 2 hours before not to play? Absolutely
bullshit.
not. He knew he was not playing the whole time, but he wanted to be part of the spectacle. He wanted to be the guy there. He didn't want to give up his spot. And you know what? How many kids are in the All-Star game? At the All-Star game? Like, this could be some kid's first happy memory of spending an All-Star weekend with their dad, and their favorite player is LeBron James, and he quits 2 hours before the game. It doesn't even put the jersey on. Like, you can't even give that kid an introduction in the jersey. No, ban him. I never want to see him at an All-Star game again. And, like, it's just such a shitty thing to do. Like, some other guy who's a deserving All-Star could have got their first All-Star game nod, and instead LeBron's out there in, like, a blazer and jeans, like, on the sideline because he was gonna play and then didn't. Like, why are people – that's, like, shitty to do, damn it. No one's talking about it.
Yeah, where is the Colin Cowherd segment on
Yeah.
who this man is as a leader and as a person? I'm unsurprised, but I did enjoy that. I gave you kind of two options there. Talk about Luka or talk about LeBron, and you went directly headfirst into
help
LeBron
myself.
James needs to be banned for life, straight to jail. Send him to jail.
Yeah.
Straight to jail.
Jail.
That's
Believe it or
that's
not.
that exactly.
Jail.
Believe it or not. Yeah, you never believe it. Straight. The not putting the uniform thing on made it so much worse, dude. Because then you've got the photo of all the All-Stars on the OG team, which is very cool that Tatum and Jaylen were a part of. You've got Jaylen, Jason, Steph, KD, Harden. I'm missing a couple guys, but like LeBron in the photo. The fact that he's in the fucking photo
Yeah.
with his dumb fucking clothes on, he's a white everything. Like, you're absolutely right. He has to be the center of attention. And he's in the middle of the photo too, by the way, wearing not his uniform. Like, yeah, the fact that that's a great call. He definitely knew that this was his plan the entire time. Like, you couldn't give us 2 minutes. You couldn't throw down one alley-oop. Couldn't
Right.
just, get out there.
And like, it's
ridiculous,
one
man.
thing if he misses the first game back, like, oh, maybe it was actually an injury or like it's injury maintenance. But no, he plays 40 minutes against Charlotte like 3 days later. So like, clearly he's not hurt. Clearly it's all planned. And you're right. The photo is so ridiculous. He looks like the coach, but no, he's the player.
Nope.
And he's not in a jersey. So I don't know. It was just absolute. Like, no one would give a shit if you didn't try, LeBron. Nobody
No.
else was trying. Like, you could have gone out there and walked around for 20 minutes.
That's the thing. Everyone else is fucking around. You just had to
Yeah.
just take it one step too far, which is classic LeBron. And then the other side of it, the Lakers have now lost back-to-back games to the Jazz, where they're blown out by, and then to the Hornets, which everybody watched because it was the only game on last night, as it was a makeup game. And it was reminiscent of the finals and how the Celtics attacked the Mavericks, because the Lakers don't have a big man now, and they are going to these like small ball, switch everything lineups. And all night, the Hornets are attacking Luka, but specifically in crunch time, it was possession, attacking Luka, and LaMelo Ball just dusted him late in that game. And not only was he getting targeted on one end, but on the other end, can't hit a shot, turning the ball over. And it's a little too early to say that maybe Nico Harrison was right, because that would be it'd be a little surprising after the Luka Doncic just averaged 33 points a game last season and kind of led his team to the finals. But I really, really enjoy the fact that Lakers fans went to sleep thinking that maybe Nico Harrison was right. Maybe, and like, I'm not sure that's gonna happen, but I just take solace in them resting their heads on their pillows, being like, "Fuck, man, what if he knew something that we didn't know?" And you look at like the NBA Reddit, it's like, is it illegal? Could you reverse the trade if like Luka's condition was way worse than it was led on to be? And that's all I really care about getting, and we got it.
Yeah, do I think he'll probably figure it out or certainly look better than he has? Yes. But for now, I am riding the Schadenfreude wave so far, man. Yeah, cone lording this wave.
Oh, there we go. That's like we're in the barrel, dude. We're in the barrel. We pulled in. We're getting pitted in the Schadenfreude wave. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and I think it's ironic that there's people online being like, could the Lakers rescind the trade? You just did, and you have to do it before you accept it, and the guy plays for you.
Yeah,
like
that's how it
clearly
works.
the Lakers know the protocol on rescinding a trade. So, I look, if the Charlotte Hornets can get any shot they want against you in crunch time, like Luka healthy or not, that's not going to change even if he's healthy and in shape. Like, that is concerning and like makes me think they probably are not going to be very effective in the playoffs, because you just can't win in this league against the OKCs and the Denvers with a bad defense. Like, it's just not possible.
No. Yeah, exactly. It's untenable. Like, I was kind of talking myself into it, and it will definitely look different if Luka's going to be Luka, because then there's going to be trying to outscore people. And but man, he looks so fucking slow, and obviously it's only a but I don't know, man. He came back before the All-Star break. Then there was that report that I saw, quote unquote. He lost 7 pounds over the All-Star break, which,
Yeah.
like, he just took a big dump and then they weighed him, essentially.
I was gonna
It's
say,
like,
would he get different clothes?
yeah, what are we talking about, dude? Like, it's, I'm not convinced he's going to have this, conditioning body maintenance epiphany. Like, people are like, LeBron's gonna take him under his wing. Has LeBron ever taken anybody under the like? What's the story of like LeBron changed this guy's life from a conditioning perspective? Because it didn't happen with AD, and it hasn't happened to my knowledge off the top of my mind. Someone remind me in the comments or tomorrow if I'm missing something. But like, I'm not. I know, and Luke has been told he's the fucking shit since he was out of the womb. He was getting paid like a pro from like 15, 16, 17 years old. I don't know, man. Changing someone's habits like that, I think is going to be quite difficult.
And I think you run the risk of like, if you're too aggressive about it, pissing them off and just making them dig in even harder. Well, it's like, I just made the finals doing this my way. Fuck
Yeah.
you, LeBron. What do you know? Which obviously is absurd, but I feel like that's kind of human psychology for some certain types of personalities. The only guy I can think of that had like a big body transformation around LeBron, and I'm not even sure it had anything to do with LeBron, was Kevin Love, because he lost a ton of weight with Cleveland, but I don't remember any stories. Like, if anything, I thought LeBron was kind of an asshole to Kevin Love during those days. So,
Kevin Love came out and was like, my mental health's been terrible since getting here.
yeah. So I'm not sure if we can credit that to LeBron. Maybe we can credit it to LeBron for making him depressed and that being why he lost weight or something. And like Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, those guys were like absurd workers. Like, he had nothing to do with those guys. If anything, LeBron like tears guys down, and if you're not mentally strong enough to handle it, like, it can run you out of town. And he's run plenty of people out of town, like Kyrie Irving and now Anthony Davis, I guess. But I don't buy it at all. And that's a great point, Jake. Like, this dude's been a professional for a decade now, like Luka meaning.
Yes.
He hasn't figured out he needs to stay in shape to be a professional athlete. Like, I don't know if there's ever going to be an epiphany there.
Yeah, man. We'll see. I obviously hope that he doesn't have the epiphany, but like, yeah, I think it's obviously it's both wish casting from the Lakers side, and then it's both kind of catastrophizing from the other side, Celtics fans, from people who want to see the Lakers not succeed. And it's like, past performance doesn't predict the future, but if look at it again, I just come back to if getting embarrassed in the finals didn't kind of flip a switch, why is this going to be different? I don't think it's that different. Maybe you're saying that because his own team finally kicked him out and these reports came out. I don't know. There's so much ego involved with people like this that, yeah, I think that was a great point from you. It's like, I made the finals doing it my way, dude. I've been like an MVP candidate, first team All-NBA. I just hurt my calf. I'm going to be fine. That's probably what he thinks. And I hope that that's what he thinks.
Yeah, me too. I absolutely hope.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see the way Tatum reacted to losing in the finals, where he came in best shape of his life. He knew he had to become a better passer. He knew he had to get stronger, and he did all those things. And it ultimately, 2 years later, ends with him winning the finals against Luka Doncic. And then you see Luka comes in out of shape, can't get healthy. I don't really like doing all the he's an alcoholic, like that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't love talking about that. But if that's true, that man needs like serious, legitimate help. And, you cannot be a professional athlete and an alcoholic. We saw that happen with Vin Baker. It works out very poorly. So if that's part of it, that dude needs time off to go get healthy. But just insofar as like, if that is not part of it and he's just like, doesn't understand what it takes to be like that upper echelon of hard worker, which there is no evidence he does. Even when he was at his best, he wasn't like a peak fitness. Like Jokic and him have had like, they sort of started at the same out of shape-ish level, and Jokic is now in ridiculous shape. And
well, I would say
Luka's
it's actually the
worse.
opposite. I would say like Luka in his because
you're
he was still so young though. Like
Yeah.
Jokic didn't really kind of come in. He was a bit older if I remember correctly when he came into the NBA then, because Luka was like straight out of like high school for all intents and purposes. So when you're that young, like you're just not going to be that big. And Jokic is the one that's gotten into shape, and then Luka's kind of gone the other way. Yeah. So Jokic's first year he was 20. Whereas I think
it
Luka
took him a
was-
while to get
yeah.
good and actually play a ton. Whereas
Correct.
Luka was great from like day one. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Alrighty, bro. Knicks ran away from it in overtime. The Cavs are. Oh, the Bulls have cut it to 2. I know. We'll see. The Nets the Cavs are pulled away, but Celtics are back, and
Yeah, buddy.
so is first to the floor. And we're on a run. We got 2 days off now, though, and then we have an early game against the Knicks. I'll be back for playback and post game stuff, and we'll let you guys know what's next. But Spoonie, I don't know if you got anything else here, but
Nah, man, it feels good for them to be back, dude. 8 out of the last 9. Like, this team is a fucking
Stretch run.
wagon. I love watching them play basketball when they're trying, and it's just
Yes.
wonderful. So let's go. Let's do
yes,
it.
it was nice to see them come out of the All-Star break and play with a purpose. I assume that continues against the Knicks. Surely the Celtics can't win by 30 against the Knicks again. You would assume maybe it gets a little bit closer, but we will see. We will see. Everybody in the chat's been a pleasure. Till next time, go Celtics.